Hi there.
Hi,
All right, you can hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Alrighty, so let's just jump right into this. Tell me a little bit about your diagnosis. Was it self-diagnosed? Did you take an online test, or was it like a professional evaluation?
Actually, a little bit of both. Project when I was a senior in high school on autism, I was in a child development class,
Okay.
and I noticed how some things were resonating with me. And I didn't really pursue a professional diagnosis then, but after thinking about it and sort of reflecting on my life, I pursued a professional diagnosis last year, and I was given the AI functioning autistic.
Okay. Um, what did you what were some of the things you experienced before your diagnosis, and how did receiving your diagnosis clear that up with what you had experienced?
Okay. First off, I know this is very cliche, but I will say it. I always felt that I was just a little bit different than
Hmm.
most people. Um, when it came to things like sensory experience, I thought that was just like a normal quirk that I had, and I had interests what I now understand were special interests, things that I enjoyed pursuing, things that I would pursue to the point of losing focus on other things. And in terms of like social interaction, I was always very like a one-track mind kind of. I was very quick to use black and white thinking when interacting with other people, and everything just kind of made sense when I got my diagnosis because everything about myself and my personality and my life just matched, and I was sort of in a fog about who I was up until that point. So
Right, right, yeah, yeah. I experienced the same thing, um, especially with the like staying focused on different things. I can definitely relate to that. So, what are some things that you find difficult about having autism?
um, I think the biggest thing, like having it because it is such an integral part of who I am, that it's very
Right.
difficult to imagine, not with other people and really just dealing with how they perceive it and just trying to bridge the communication gap. Really, that's the biggest part.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And on the contrary, like, what are some things that you excel at because of autism?
Um, well, first off, my special interest is literature and writing, and that's sort of how I'd like to be like a literature professor at some point in my
Okay.
life. And I think my ability to focus in a healthy way, kind of. So I think that has led me to develop certain skills that I think would benefit me not only just in my chosen career path, but if I have to deviate from my chosen career path, I have a set of skills that I could potentially bring to whatever career I happen to get outside of that. So I
Yeah,
think just being able to just accumulate the skills that I have.
yeah, I agree. I'm the same way. Like, my special interest is math, and I've decided to be a math teacher. So, like, I think using those special interests to your advantage, that helps you get like almost a boost in the real world, in my opinion. So, what is the most important thing lesson you learned about living with autism?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, like what's the most important lesson that living with autism has taught you? Like life lesson.
Um, I think really, I think the lesson that autism has taught me is probably the most important life lesson that anyone can learn, and that is that ultimately you are going to be given a certain set of cards when you're born, and not only when you're born, but during your life, things are going to happen to you, and you are going to have to learn to mitigate that and find the silver lining and try to turn that into something, you know, positive, and things that you perceive as positive about yourself, like, you know, I'm autistic, and I think that's an integral part of my identity. And I know there are so many people out there who, you know, I think really kind of are afraid of autism, and you know, and you know, I have to deal with these people and deal with the fact that something that is just a part of who I am and that is so integral to my identity is not always welcome in this world. You know.
Right. Yeah. I agree completely, especially about like the certain set of cards, because statistically speaking, it is like a disadvantage in the real world. But I think we have to find creative ways in order to use that in order to make us successful. Um,
Absolutely.
so, second to last question here. There's only two more. Do you think society treats people with autism fairly? And if not, what do you think needs to change about that?
Um, I wouldn't say yes, but I do think it's getting better. I think it's due in part to the advocacy of people with autism, and as well as people who care about them, and in general, people who care about disability rights issues.
Right.
I do know from personal experience that sometimes accommodation is a little bit hard to come by. There's um, sort of the whole bureaucratic hoops that you have to jump through to get that, and as well as just in general communications issues. And I think about some of the campaigns that have been launched by organizations like Autism Speaks Against Us, and sometimes the antagonization of autism that exists in our culture. And I would say that it is getting better because of, again, like the work of organizations like ASAN, and just people with autism being willing to be visible. So
Yeah, I agree. I also like the Autism Awareness Month idea, although I think it should be like a year-round awareness. But I think like this world is getting less and less ableist, which is definitely a good sign. But I think I personally, I think there's always going to be at least some form of ableism, which is unfortunate. But
oh
like
yes, oh yes.
all we can do is just get better. Um,
Mhm.
so the final question is, what do you think is the main thing that neurotypicals don't understand about us, especially high functioning?
Oh, okay. That's a loaded question. That is a big question. Okay.
Yeah, and then it's strong.
uh, oh, okay. I think the main thing that they don't understand is because that it is a hidden disability, that our perceptions are still fundamentally like different. I had a former best friend um, say to me, sometimes I do forget that you're autistic, because I've had to mask in social situations that I was with him, excuse me, that I was with him. And he said, you know, sometimes I forget, and the things that we come away from a situation understanding are not the same understandings that you might come away with just because that perception difference, because of that perception difference. I'm sorry, I'm stuttering, but
No, it's fine. Yeah.
that would be the main thing, is that I'd really just like to hammer home that our perception is still different, even if we are quote unquote high functioning. Okay.
Right. No, that's a very good answer. I hadn't thought about it, but that does make a lot of sense. That it is like very hard to spot, especially if you try to put yourself into social situations. But yeah, definitely. Well,
Absolutely.
I I really appreciate this interview, and I wish you a good month and a good rest of the year.
You too. Thank you
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you. Have a nice day.